Hello everyone, I'm here and we come to the story of the curse at BRANNOR Manor. Let's get into the story right away. In the remote hills of northern Scotland, where the fog is so thick it seems to choke your breath, there is an ancient mansion called BRANNOR Manor. No map clearly marks it and only the old locals know how to get there. They call it the House of Whispers, because every night from the pitch-black pines, a faint whispering sound can be heard, like the wind calling, or the moaning of a cursed soul. BRANNOR Manor once belonged to the MANOR family, a famous noble family in the 17th century. But what made this family famous was not their vast wealth or their position in the royal court, but the unnatural deaths of each member of the family, as if an invisible hand was gradually erasing them from the world. A curse was said to have been placed here, not by a witch but by the MANORs themselves. In 1923, a young historian named Elliot Granger decided to take a trip to the Scottish Highlands to research forgotten legends. He heard about the curse of BRANNOR Manor in a seedy pub in Inverness, from a toothless old man whose voice was distorted by drink and hauntings. "If you really believe in the past," he said, "go there and find Elspeth Renmore's diary. But don't open it while the moon is overhead." Elliot, though a little skeptical, was intrigued by the mystery of the curse and decided to visit BRANNOR Manor. After days of trekking through forests and wading through streams, he finally stood before the rusty iron gates, where two stone statues, an owl and a fox, guarded the entrance. As soon as he stepped into the grounds, a chill ran down his spine, not like wind but like the touch of a hand. The building appeared like a forgotten corpse. The roof collapsed, the windows shattered, the walls covered in moss. But it was precisely this decay that gave the place an irresistible deathly beauty. Elliot began his exploration, and the deeper he went, the more he felt something watching him, something indistinct, just a feeling, a whisper, a shadow in the corner of his eye. In the library he found an old leather-bound diary with a brass lock, and on the cover was the Renmore family crest, a sword coiled with a snake. Elliot broke the lock. The diary of Elspeth Renmore, the last girl of the family, began with a confession: "I am the one who brought disaster upon this bloodline." Elspeth tells the story of her love affair with a man named Corwin, a strange priest from Transylvania. He never came out into the light of day, and his words were like honey to her ears. When her father discovered him, he ordered Corwin to be hanged from the elm tree behind the mansion. But before he died, Corwin cursed the entire Renmore family: "From now on, your blood will not sleep peacefully. My spirit will return every full moon, and you will die one by one in despair." From then on, each member of Elspeth's family died in strange circumstances. Her younger brother swallowed his tongue during dinner, her mother threw herself into the fireplace, and her father, the one who hanged Corwin, was dragged through a thorny field until only a skeleton remained. Elspeth, guilty and haunted, locked herself in the cellar, where she wrote down her story, leaving behind the last words: "When you read these words you will wake. Run while there is time." Just as Elliot reached that point, his lantern went out. In the darkness, footsteps echoed from upstairs, each step slow but clear. He lit it again, but the light was now just enough to see the dusty handprints on the walls, small, slender, like a woman's. He turned and saw that he was no longer alone. That night, Elliot never left BRANNOR Manor. Locals later said they saw a flicker of light in the building for 3 nights, then it went out forever. And in the old pub, another old man began telling strangers about the curse, about the Renmores, and about the young historian who had never returned. But what is more terrifying is that the curse does not end at BRANNOR. Anyone who reads Elspeth's entire diary, if not already possessed, carries the seeds of the curse with them. And so it spreads, not through blood, but through knowledge, through the deadly curiosity of those who want to touch the past. And if you have read this far, look behind you, maybe the curse has chosen you next. In the fall of 1938, nearly 15 years after Elliot's disappearance, a group of students from the University of Edinburgh, 3 young people, Nora, Lucian and Peter, decide to set out in search of BRANNOR Manor. They are field archaeologists, intrigued by the mysterious disappearance of Elliot Granger and the rumored diary. Using a crude map found in the school library, the group follows a trail through the woods, past abandoned ruins and cold marshes, finally reaching the silent land where the ancient mansion lies. M slept like a prisoner waiting to be called. From the moment they reached BRANNOR, Lucian, the most sensitive of the group, felt his chest tighten as if a stone were pressing down on it. Nora enthusiastically went in first, taking notes on every feature of the decaying architecture, while Peter carried his cumbersome video camera, determined to record this journey for their graduation thesis. But none of the 3 knew that the diary was still there, waiting for them to open it again. In the ruined living room, under the dust and rubble, they found a large wooden chest locked with iron chains. Peter pried open the lid with a crowbar, revealing the leather-bound diary inside, now cracked and moldy, but the words "Eren more" were as clear as if they had written it yesterday. Nora, curious, read Elspeth's opening aloud while Lucien filmed. Moans began to echo through the hallway, not from them, but as if coming from within the walls. At night, the three of them slept in the dining room. Lucien was the first to go missing. They found a trail of blood from where he lay down to the back hallway, ending at a brick wall with no door. Then Peter started rambling at night, drawing strange symbols with his nosebleed on the wall. Nora, panicked, tried to leave, but the iron gate wouldn't open, and the woods around the mansion now seemed endless. She walked for hours and still came back to where she started. On the third floor, where Elspeth's room used to be, Nora came face to face with a creature that had no clear form, just a dark mass that was bleeding and whispering in the opposite direction. It didn't attack, just stood there and slowly opened its mouth full of uneven teeth, whispering in Elliot's voice, "Don't read any further." She didn't believe it. She opened the diary and read to the last page, where Elspeth wrote the last line in blood, "I can't die. I only change hands." A cold wind blew past. The creature vanished. And in an instant, Nora was no longer Nora. In 1950, a French film crew came to the Scottish Highlands to film local legends. They happened to film a woman standing in the middle of the forest, wearing a white dress, long hair, holding a tattered leather notebook. She did not speak, just looked into the lens and whispered over and over, "The curse does not die. It only changes its name." Since then, every 20 years a group of people have gone missing around BRANNOR. And every time the moonlight shines on the west wall of the mansion, people see a figure sitting by the window, writing in the notebook that has never been closed. Do you remember how much you have read? Maybe enough for it to recognize you.